Apocalypse Now by Desutoria. Chapter 24. Missing no, Hideki repeated, a disturbed look on his face. Blaine, what is this? I don't even... It's short for missing number, as all Pokemon are assigned numbers, but this Pokemon, well, it's technically not a Pokemon. You're not making any sense, Blaine, said Xerxes. Think of missing no as more of a living piece of code. And what does that mean? Hideki asked. It has almost no biological needs. It doesn't eat, it doesn't sleep. Its only goal or instinct is to corrupt, assuming it even knows what it's doing. Blaine, I'm super lost, Harmony said, scooting closer to Hideki. Why don't you start at the start? Tell us exactly how Missing No came to be. As I said before, Missing No was our first attempt at creating a Pokemon from scratch. A Porygon prototype. Except there was a critical error in the coding of the artificial DNA of this particular specimen. An error that would have terminated the entire project under normal circumstances. But this error, it resulted in a creature with the ability to override other artificial codes. You mean like a computer code? V asked. Exactly right, V. In fact, the precise execution of its ability was how it got out. After we had seen what an abomination we created, we attempted to convert it into digital data and delete it. But Missing No and its jumbled code took control of the entire system, overriding the command, releasing itself, and decimating our entire computer system in the process. So wait, it just escaped? Is that thing still out there? Xerxes asked. Exactly how long ago was this? Decades ago. Every so often, for a year or two after the incident, a trainer will report seeing something blocky and strange off the coast of the island. My employers, Team Rocket, made sure that these reports never made it past the authorities to save my reputation. Blaine stared at his feet in guilt. It was a very different time back then. Blaine, this is fascinating in a creepy way, Harmony said, still uneasy. But I don't see how this relates to what's going on now. Oh, but it does, Harmony. It relates to you especially. What does that... Blaine pulled the manila envelope back out of his pocket and retrieved a second scan from it. The reports of sightings of Missing No died out within a couple of years. Since then, I was unsure of the creature's status. I wasn't even sure it was still alive until I saw this. The second scan looked similar to the first, still comprised of mostly purple pixels, but there was a more organic feel to it, like some sort of strange amoeba made up of children's building blocks. I definitely see the similarity, Xerxes noted. That is a microscopic photograph of an organism I found living in the mouth of Harmony's Steelix. Hideki felt Harmony go stiff as a board next to him as she let out a small gasp upon hearing these words. Please relax, Harmony. I returned him to you because he's in perfect health, and I assure you that he still is. This organism is now dead, and while Rocky wasn't the only one I found the germ on, the rest of your team is now clear to them as well. What is it, though? This is what has been making all the Pokemon in Kanto sick lately. But it wasn't making any of your Pokemon sick, Harmony, because this virus contains a fusion of the artificial coding of Missing No and the Pokerus virus. Harmony's eyes widened as several pieces of the puzzle fell into place at once. My Pokemon contracted Pokerus in Johto, and after a few days, you're immune and you can't spread it anymore. That's how Pokerus works. So if this is just a mutation of Pokerus... Blaine smiled. That's right, Harmony. That's why none of your Pokemon turned. They're immune to the virus because they're immune to Pokerus. Harmony let out an excited squeal and hugged Hideki in jubilation. Oh, hold on. I don't understand, Xerxes interjected. How did Missing No get in the strand of Pokerus? I can only wager a guess that Missing No is still out there, running wild in Kanto somewhere. It must have had contact with the Pokemon infected with Pokerus. Then it must have somehow taken control of the relatively simple genetic code of the virus and warped it into its own twisted brand before passing that virus on to another Pokemon. How that jumbled code of random algorithms results in a grotesque expression that you've seen over the last 3 days is beyond me, but I suppose we'll never know for sure. But that would explain why Harmony's Pokemon are immune to its effects. That also explains why you said that she's the key, Hideki said, also beginning to understand. If she can spread that immunity to the rest of us, if she can give us the original Pokerus, we'll be immune too, Xerxes finished. Precisely, Blaine said. Unfortunately, the Pokerus in all 6 of her Pokemon has gone dormant. So, Harmony, this is the vital part. Do you have any additional Pokemon that still had the virus in its original form? I sure do. I read about the Pokerus's benefits when I discovered it on my Pokemon, and I also read that it won't go dormant if you store the infected Pokemon in the PC first. I have a whole box full of carriers. All we have to do is pull them out and get everyone in a room together and... Excuse me, V said quietly, but, well, aren't the PC systems all down? I don't see how we can transfer Pokemon without power. Well, Blaine has power here, Harmony reasoned. Why can't we just access the storage and pull them out? No, V is right, Blaine explained. We have power here, but we still can't access the storage system because the base server is down. We'll have to go to the server itself and restore power to it before we can access the stored Pokemon. Ah, hell, Xerxes said, suddenly sounding incredibly worried. Please tell me Bill isn't still running at that from his lighthouse in Cerulean. I'm afraid so, Xerxes, Blaine said. If you want that immunity from the virus, you're going to have to go to Bill's house. But that's at the polar opposite end of the region. I think we're better off staying here, guys. That's another issue I wanted to discuss with you all, actually, Blaine said as he opened one particularly large cabinet on the wall. The cabinet was lined with plentiful, but obviously finite, assortment of various shelf-stable foods and drinks. You're all welcome to stay here as long as this cabinet will allow, but once our supplies run out, we'll be forced to leave. I think we can make this last a couple of weeks at least, Harmony said, examining the shelves. But don't forget, when we do leave, we'll want plenty to take with us too, Hideki noted. I say we leave as soon as Harmony's leg is up to it. As much as I hate to think about leaving this place after what we've been through, Xerxes said, Hideki's right. The sooner the better. Plus, you never know when something might pop up here. We probably shouldn't get too comfortable anywhere. V said from a distance. The other turned around to notice that she was still seated in front of her plate, a disheartened look on her face. What about me? She asked meekly. What about you? Hideki asked. I'm sure it's not a problem for trainers as strong as you guys to fight your way from here to Cerulean City, but how am I supposed to make it too? I'm not ready. Hideki looked at Harmony, who simply nodded as she prepared to make the walk to the arena. We'll just have to fix that then, won't we? He said to V with a confident grin.